Okay, let me start by sharing something that might surprise you, and that is research shows that only about 8% of people who set goals actually achieve them. Now, while some of the examples I'm going to share touch on company performance, please know that this particular framework I'm about to share is designed for everyone. The core idea is for you to grasp these concepts and ideas so you can apply them to become an elite performer in whatever you do. So, what makes this small group of achievers different? And let me tell you this, it's not just luck or raw talent. It's this systematic approach to performance, an approach that creates exponential, not just steady results. And what I'm going to do is, in this particular video, I'm going to walk you through this particular impact framework. And this is a system I've personally developed from years of working with and studying elite performers. And I've seen it work firsthand. I've helped companies achieve up to 20-fold growth and guided many individuals to become true high performers in their fields. And this particular framework, which I'm about to share, isn't about abstract theories. It's about showing you how to build an environment around yourself that naturally pulls you towards higher levels of achievement. So let me start and let me ask you this and be honest with yourself. Have you ever worked incredibly hard and put in those extra hours, stayed late, woken up early, only to hit a frustrating ceiling in your particular results? And if so, you're definitely not alone. Most of us are taught that the path to success is simply to work harder within our current situation. And all they say is just push a little more, stay a bit longer, sacrifice more sleep, and eventually we'll break through. And I'll tell you this, I used to believe that too, and I vividly remember that I was working 14 hours a day at one point and just wondering why I wasn't seeing those particular massive results that I felt I deserved. And here's the critical insight I want to share, is that data suggests that relying only on hard work alone fails about 92% of the time. Now, I want you to think about that. More than 9 out of 10 people who just try to muscle through with sheer effort don't reach their biggest goals. And it's not because they aren't working hard enough, it's because they are often missing a crucial system. You see, your performance is fundamentally shaped by the environment and the systems that you operate within. And this is something top performers understand this deeply. Your results are often kept not by your potential, but by your current operating system. And I worked with business owners who for years just couldn't seem to break past certain revenue barriers, no matter how much effort they poured in. And with just a few tweaks, and everything changed. And by the way, I'll be sharing what exactly you need to do to break these particular barriers. And this is why some people seem to achieve so much more with what looks like less effort. And they're not necessarily smart or more talented. They've simply built better systems around themselves. Now, if you ever seen someone who seems to get twice your results while working half as hard, and that's usually not luck. It's actually effective system design. And the real issue often isn't your effort or your talent. It's this invisible boundaries and accepted constraints you're working within. So many people try to just push harder against these existing limitations rather than questioning the limitations themselves and designing a way to operate beyond them. But what if you could create an entirely new performance environment? What if instead of constantly pushing against your current setup, you could establish conditions that naturally support far greater outcomes. Now, I want you to imagine an environment that actively pulls you towards success. That's what we are aiming for. And this is what top performers do differently. What they do is they consciously design their environment first. And this brings me to the impact framework. And the impact framework is actually a blueprint for creating your own high performance conditions. And in this particular impact model itself, each letter represents a critical component. I is for intention. That's the first letter. And this is about having a specific point of destination. And top performers don't just have vague goals. They actually establish crystal clear destinations with specific timelines and clear metrics. So let me share one of my experiences. I worked with a company whose leadership team was struggling with a lack of clear direction. And by helping them forge a unified vision, and by the way, I call this collective intention, and a detailed strategic blueprint, we managed to align the entire top team. And you know what the result was? They started making far more effective decisions and could finally connect all the dots for sustained progress. So I want you to always remember this, that clarity is where the impact truly is, and clarity is where the power is. Now, M stands for mindset, but this isn't just about positive thinking. Elite performers build psychological resilience through specific mental training and deliberate perspective shifts. I coached a non-executive director who, in about 6 months, went from feeling constantly overwhelmed to being recognized as a high performer in his particular organization. And this shift came through consistent weekly coaching focused on developing strategic thinking, building mental fortitude, and advancing adaptive leadership skills. Though I would personally say that a significant portion was to do with the mindset itself. And I will say 80% is mindset, 20% is skill sets. P represents people. High achievers are strategic about the relationships they choose and develop. What they do is they consciously choose to engage with people who pull them forward and challenge them to grow. Think about the people you spend the most time with. Are they really expanding your horizons or keeping you within your comfort zone? So there was one particular executive I knew who made a list of her 5 most influential contacts. And what she did is, when she realized none of them truly pushed her to grow, what she did was she proactively joined 2 new professional groups and also hired a coach, by the way. And within 6 months, her entire perspective and performance shifted. A, my dear friends, stands for accountability. And top performers don't just rely on willpower. They create systems that make follow through almost inevitable. When I was acting as an advisor and accountability partner to one particular mid-sized company, what we did is we didn't do check-ins. We actually embedded robust systems of responsibility through their entire operations. And what happened is this systematic accountability was a direct contributor to them achieving an incredible 20-fold growth. C stands for cost leadership. This is about being incredibly efficient and effective with all your resources, your time, your money, your energy, and your attention. And what elite performers really do is they relentlessly focus on maximizing value while eliminating waste. And I recall I have one particular manufacturing company achieve a 25% improvement in efficiency levels What we did is we established a more effective, loosely defined governance structure that sort of clarified roles, streamlined processes, and drastically reduced waste, effort, and materials. A clear example of cost leadership in action by optimizing how resources were deployed. It's about absolutely getting the most out of what you have. Finally, T represents traction. This is all about converting potential into consistent results through solid implementation systems. This is where many great ideas fall short. And I guided one particular manufacturing company. It was in the paint division itself, paint sector itself, to achieve a fourfold growth in about 24 months. And this wasn't an accident. It was actually the result of rigorously applying systems that ensured consistent execution on their core strategies and pulled them towards their ambitious targets. So your environment, my dear friends, and the systems within it will either limit your growth or expand it. And this particular impact framework, it isn't actually magic, but it does require consistent application. Top performers build these kind of systems that naturally produce excellence day after day. They create conditions where exceptional performance becomes the default, not the rare exception. Now, you might be thinking, this all sounds good, but will I actually use it? And that's actually a fair question. I've seen many people get excited about new frameworks only to let them fade when daily life hits hard. And what makes the impact framework different is how straightforward it can be to implement. So let me show you how you can put each element into action starting today. For intention, I would ask you to consider trying the 3-horizon mapping technique. What I want you to do is simply take a sheet of paper and draw 3 circles. In the first circle, write down your specific 90-day targets. What results do you want in the next 3 months? In the second circle, I want you to detail your 1-year vision. Where do you see yourself specifically in 12 months? And in the third one, I want you to outline your 3-year destination. Now, you might find that within just a few months of doing this, your daily decisions start becoming much more aligned with where you truly want to go long term. And for mindset, I propose implement a 10-minute morning mental resilience routine. And what I would press upon you to consider is each morning identify your 3 most important tasks for the day. And for each task, I want you to visualize one potential obstacle you might face. Then mentally rehearse how you'll respond to that particular obstacle calmly and effectively. Also, commit to reading for at least 20 minutes daily. This particular continuous learning is actually vital for upskilling and expanding your perspective. And I believe that after about a month of this consistent practice, you'll likely find yourself responding to challenges with much more clarity and less reactivity. And for people, which is the P, consider using the relationship audit tool. And what I propose is make a list of the 10 people you spend the most time with, professionally or personally. Next to each name, honestly mark whether they generally inspire you to grow with a plus sign, or if their influence tends to keep you in your comfort zone with a minus sign. Then what I want you to do is make a conscious effort to increase your quality time and interactions with those that bring that positive, growth-oriented influence. Let's move to A. For accountability, consider establishing a simple 3-layer system. Start with daily self-accountability, perhaps a simple checklist of your key actions for the day. Then I propose find an accountability partner for a weekly check-in to review your progress. And third, try to create some personal skin in the game, a meaningful commitment that makes it more compelling for you to follow through. Now, for cost leadership, what I propose is conduct a weekly value waste analysis across your resources. So, what I suggest is every Sunday, review your calendar and activities from the past week. Ask yourself, where did my time, money, and energy go? And what I propose is highlight activities that produced high value and clear results in green. These are your high return on investment activities. And what you do is identify activities or expenses that wasted resources or produced minimal value in red. So how can these be reduced or eliminated? What I want you to do is assess your energy levels. Were you applying your peak energy to your most valuable tasks, or was it drained by low value activities? And this is about optimizing your personal energy as a key resource. Financially, make it a habit to save a portion of your income monthly and invest it wisely. This is fundamental to long-term cost leadership in your personal finances, making your money work efficiently for you through compounding. And continuously look for ways to upskill and improve your efficiency in how you approach tasks, doing things better, faster, or with fewer resources. Now, I just want to give you a quick rundown on one other aspect, and that is emotional intelligence. This actually is so fundamental to success in every part of your life. Understanding your own emotions and how to manage them, as well as recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. And I personally have seen firsthand how leaders who develop their emotional intelligence can actually transform their teams. By the way, I'm actually planning a dedicated deep dive video on emotional intelligence very soon. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out. And also, if you are finding this particular content useful, please give this video a like. It really helps. Finally, let's move to traction. What I want you to do is create a weekly implementation scorecard. This is a simple way to rate yourself, maybe from 1 to 5, in each of the impact areas we've discussed. And this quick weekly review basically creates powerful awareness of where you are strong and where you might need to focus more attention. And just imagine that what if someone starting from a place of feeling stuck without clear direction, they could begin using this 3-horizon mapping for intention. They would also be able to build their mindset with daily resilience routines and reading. They would audit their people circle for accountability. They would start a simple checklist and maybe ask a friend for weekly check-ins. And they would be applying cost leadership that would scrutinize their spending of time and money, start saving and investing, and also look for ways to be more efficient in their daily tasks. And they would also begin to pay more attention to their emotional responses as a precursor to deeper emotional intelligence work, and with a weekly scorecard for traction. And I believe they would see their progress. It's these small, consistent actions applied systematically that build incredible momentum over time. So, my dear friends, what really separates that top 1%? It's often just not innate talent or sheer luck. It's how they consciously and consistently create environments and systems that naturally produce exceptional results. And when I work with high achievers, I notice they focus on building these systems first, and then they let those systems do a lot of the heavy lifting. And I want to encourage you to try one part of this impact framework this week. If you are looking for the fastest visible changes, perhaps start with intention. Get really clear on a specific destination or with accountability. And what you need to do is build that simple 3-layer system and take that first small step today. And always remember, a more intentional, resilient, connected, accountable, cost effective, and traction focused approach is within your reach. And these elements, which is intention, mindset, people, accountability, cost leadership, and traction, are there to guide you on your journey to achieving the exceptional results you're capable of. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you very much.